Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. This episode is called Preventing an Automotive Apocalypse. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show. Also, I'd like to tell you about a service called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls with your favorite celebrities. So check them out. They have more than 100 celebrities to select from. It's something you can buy for yourself or as a gift for someone you love. A live 15-second call is $19.95 and a live 30-second call is $29.95. You can purchase one for a holiday, a special occasion, a Christmas, a birthday. Whatever the motive, they're a lot of fun to receive. So give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now let's get started. The car companies are in serious existential trouble. Dealers are refusing to accept new cars because they can't sell existing cars. Car transport ships are sitting off the coast of California because they won't allow them to unload because there's nowhere to store the cars and they're not able to sell them. Some dealers and companies are dramatically lowering the cost and offering incentive, but that's not enough because 40 million Americans are out of work and they have depleted their bank accounts over the last few months, and now they're struggling just to put food on the table. Now, the executives at the car companies are praying that when this thing is over, everything will go back to normal, but that will not happen for a number of reasons. When the CEOs of these car companies realize that things aren't going to return to normal, then a lot of senior executives who have been giving their CEOs bad advice are going to lose their jobs. Here are just a few of the reasons things will not return to normal. First of all, when the entire population of America is psychologically shocked into the realization that they have lost their jobs and they may be evicted or they may be unable to feed their families, then that is such a traumatic realization that even if it all ended tomorrow, the last thing these people want to do is to go out and pay $30,000 or $40,000 for an overpriced car that'll lose half its value when they drive it off the lot. What's needed are extraordinary technological solutions to resolve these difficult business problems, and we have them. We've developed a technological solution that can keep the car companies out of bankruptcy, save millions of auto industry jobs, and help the American economy accelerate its growth. While we've developed a number of these patented technologies and business models that can help the car companies, today we're only going to publicly disclose one of them. It's called the Profit-Driven Microlease. Here's how it will work. Currently, when it comes to new cars, you can only buy them or lease them. I believe that neither of these options will appeal to the public very much going forward. We've created a new option called the Profit-Driven Microlease that will allow people to lease cars for both fixed and variable micro durations of time. It will allow you to lease a new car for a week, a month, or several months, whatever the customer chooses. During this time period, the customer will have the option of using the vehicle as a Turo.com rental vehicle for peer-to-peer rentals, or they can use it as an Uber or Lyft driving vehicle. Doing so will allow the customer to actually make more money with the vehicle, and that will impact the amount they pay for their weekly or monthly micro-lease payment. This patented new profit-driven micro-lease program can be structured in a number of ways and renewed on a weekly or monthly basis. It is designed to provide a number of very unique benefits for the auto manufacturers and for the customers. First, it will allow the customers to use their vehicles to make money from Turo or Uber or Lyft, so that they can earn an income that will allow them to afford the vehicle. Secondly, depending on which micro-lease option and payment plan the customer selects, some of the rental profit money earned by the customer when it's being driven or rented for Uber or one of the other companies can actually be automatically allocated to the lease payment. Why is that important? Because in addition to creating a new for-profit business model that allows customers to make money with their new leased vehicles, it also helps the car companies collect the lease payments they're owed by automatically debiting them from the Uber or Lyft payments paid to the drivers. The next thing that it will accomplish is that it will create a futures contract marketplace for automotive leases. We believe that once this technology begins to allow lease owners to turn a profit with their vehicles, then the value of their specific lease will increase because it is tied to a car that is driven by someone who's making money. We believe that if that's the case, then that driver ought to be allowed to sell his lease and his driving services to others, and that when the value of his lease increases, then he should be able to sell it for a higher price. We believe that this new futures lease market will eventually generate more value than the company's stocks do for various auto companies. It will also create a unique new way to sell or lease cars in an economy where no one can afford to buy or lease a new car under traditional purchase or lease agreements. This new business model and technology will open the floodgates by allowing people to actually make money with the cars they lease. The next benefit that this technology and business model will create is that if a customer no longer wants or can afford a lease, then returning the vehicle or getting it repossessed are no longer their only options. This technology will create a peer-to-peer lease transfer and sales market that will allow people to sell their leases to another individual that wants to acquire it. Once someone sells their lease, then it is no longer their responsibility and they can avoid damaging their credit, which is what would happen if the vehicle was repossessed. This technology can also allow a customer to select a microlease option with a variable payment that can be determined in part by the number of miles the customer drives in a given week or month. The less miles that are driven by the vehicle, the lower their lease payments become. So how do you implement such a substantial new program in a way that doesn't overwhelm car manufacturers and dealers with a massive number of burdensome new tasks and responsibilities? We're going to accomplish that by putting the entire program on the cloud and allowing all the parties to access it from their smartphones or laptops. Everyone, car dealers, finance managers, car lease customers, everyone can learn how to use this online and then use it. The purchase program, micro-leasing program, and peer-to-peer lease, resale, and transfer program will reside on the cloud in a way that helps customers acquire, lease, or sell their vehicles in a very economical manner. Most importantly, it will allow leaseholders to sell their leases at a profit. It'll allow car manufacturers and dealers to resell leases at a profit. So, why would the car companies and dealerships want to participate in these programs? We believe they'll need to participate for a growing number of reasons. First of all, vehicles aren't selling or leasing. After recent events, we believe that customers have been so economically traumatized and depleted by what happened that they will not go back to being comfortable with spending large amounts of money on a car purchase or lease unless the program with which they are able to purchase those vehicles will also make it possible for them to make money with them. If they can make money with Turo or Lyft or Uber with their new cars, then that will change the purchase decision-making process entirely and make it much more likely that they will be incentivized to proceed with a purchase or lease. Another problem is that millions of people purchase or lease cars that they end up losing down the road. The car gets repossessed and their credit gets destroyed. This solution provides a mechanism for the preservation of people's credit score by allowing them to transfer ownership of their lease to another individual. In doing so, they will keep their credit intact. Another issue is that the car companies that have all these cars out there that the dealers won't accept delivery of. Customers won't buy or lease, and in a growing number of instances, there is nowhere to store them without incurring very significant storage costs. So this tidal wave of unsold cars is growing in size, and it is costing car companies millions of dollars. There is no existing system or business model to sell or lease these cars to the public that will work because people are just tapped out. The only way to move these cars is to envelop them in a new micro-leasing business model and technology that can help people acquire the cars very inexpensively and on lease terms that don't destroy their credit. Most importantly, It has to be done in a way that allows people to use the vehicles to make money to offset the cost of the car. Currently, there is no way to unload a lease or to make money off the sale of a lease. This patented technology and business model will create a peer-to-peer futures lease market that will allow people to sell or transfer their leases to another individual and to do it profitably. The car companies or the banks will continue to receive their payments each month. The sellers can theoretically make money by reselling their leases to someone else in a way that allows the new individual to own the vehicle and keep making money off the previous owner's driving of the rental vehicle. There are additional financial benefits to this new business model. It allows the car manufacturers to financially participate in the peer-to-peer car rental business generated by Uber and Lyft and Turo without having to invest massive amounts of capital to support and maintain an array of rental vehicles and drivers themselves. All of those costs will be paid by the drivers who are leasing them. We've developed a number of technologies that we think can save the automotive industry, but for obvious reasons, we've only disclosed one of them today. If you're interested in partnering with us on this or other projects, then you can contact us by email at johnarcshow@gmail.com. Once again, that's JOHNARCSHOW@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you soon.